my goodness. And there it is. Wow. Skip it. Go.
Hello, bowling fans, and welcome back to Bowl TV for the Stepladder Finals and the pregame show of the PWBA Pepsi Classic, the second event of the Fall Classic Series taking place at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith, but I'm just going to be joining you from time to time during the show. We're going to hand it off to our great broadcast team to bring you the action. We have a special presentation coming up as well prior to the start of competition here. So before we get to our broadcasters for today, we are going to go out to the lanes for a special presentation before we get to meet Dave Lamont and Carolyn Doran-Ballard, the Hall of Famer. Stephanie Zavala has won PWBA Rookie of the Year. She's going to have her award presentation to kick things off here on the show. So we're going to go to that as we kick things off from the NBS.
This season's PWBA Rookie of the Year race was one of the best we've ever had. And this young lady is having one of the best rookie seasons in the history of the PWBA. She's the first rookie to win 3 titles in a season since PWBA Hall of Famer Leanne Holstenberg dated back in 1987. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our 2021 PWBA Rookie of the Year, Stephanie Zavala.
I just want to take a couple minutes to thank all of my sponsors, my other global stars, thank Matt, Jen, Sean, and Steve, who's not here. Shout out to my parents, I love you guys for the shit you're watching right now. Thanks for always supporting me independently, and shout out to Chris, who's everybody knows me.
All right, with the wave to the crowd, so a few words from Stephanie Zavala, our PWBA Rookie of the Year for the 2021 season, 3 titles, the first player since Leanne Holstenberg in 1987 to win 3 titles as a rookie on a professional women's bowling tour. We're just minutes away from the start of the Pepsi Classic Stepladder Final. We're going to introduce our great broadcast team here now. Let's kick it off with Dave Lamont. He's been joining us throughout the course of the year. We're going to get the chance to sit with him one more time here. Dave, welcome back.
There. And congratulations to Stephanie. This is an historic season when you think about it, Aaron. You mentioned Leanne's the only one who ever done this. So think about the many women who have been the PWBA Rookie of the Year, either in the initial era or the new era. And nobody else has really had this kind of a season before. So she's marked herself as a player to watch going into next year, really going into this weekend still. And tremendous for her to get this accomplishment. We were pretty sure she had wrapped everything up Tuesday night. But we wanted to wait until it was declared official. But congratulations. That's a spectacular season.
100% officially in the books. Stephanie Zavala, your 2021 PWBA Rookie of the Year. The second member of our broadcast team, I believe she is all set to go. Let's welcome her into the show, 20-time titleist, Carolyn Doran-Ballard. CDB, hello.
Hello, gentlemen. How are we tonight? I'm just, as usual, texting and trying to find out some scoop and find out what's going on. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for allowing me to participate again tonight.
You know, Carolyn, we were wondering on Tuesday night who's going to stick around and make it Thursday. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie Johnson has done so. She is the only
Mm-hmm.
one from Tuesday to make it in. She'll be in this first
Correct.
match. You see her warming up right now in the yellow. I have to say, based just on the interview we had with her after she lost, I'm not surprised. Her attitude is absolutely what you need right now.
Yeah, Stephanie is very positive. She's very confident, but she's very confident in a silent manner. She's the person that you look at and you say, she lets her bowling do the talking for her. She's not very boisterous. She's not very, she speaks her mind, but in a subtle way. So she knows what she needs to do, what her task is for her to be a champion and to make it to that third event. And she's done that.
Well, she has a very difficult first match, though. You've got the reigning Queens champion and the two-time winner this year in Julia Bond, and I know you love her game.
I do love her game because you know what? It's funny because this first match, I love both these ladies' games. But Julia Bond, traditional style from front to back. I mean, there is nothing more traditional than Julia Bond. But what I like, again, about Julia, that she has some of the traits that Stephanie has, Julia has that silent confidence. You don't see Julia walking around a bowling center just, this type, and she's talking to everybody. She chats with the ball reps. Yet when she gets to the lanes and in that set tee area, it's all business. And she has said before in the past, I know what I have to do. If I do from point A to point B what I've practiced and what I believe I can do, I will make it to the championship round. And that's exactly what she did this week. Also, Dave, if you looked at the top 24 from the first tournament and today, you have a lot of the same girls. They just flipped, back and forth. I'm not going to mention names because some, bowled better the other tournament, didn't bowl as well this tournament. But that 24 truly remained kind of close to the same. And they just flipped spots. And again, you have one repeat, which is Stephanie Johnson, which tells you one thing about the stadium, like I mentioned 2 days ago, and about the different patterns.
All right, we also have Missy Parkin as the number 2 seed and Maria Jose Rodriguez as the number 1 seed. We will talk about them as the evening goes on. But, Aaron, I know you've got a busy night with several giveaways, and this is a great opportunity for bowling fans to win something from Aaron's personal prize closet. So that's all coming up. It's going to be a full evening from Reno.
Absolutely, Dave. 3 bowling ball giveaways, not from my personal collection, but from our great gold industry partners here on the PWBA Tour. One from Brunswick, one from Rotogrip, and one for Storm. So those will be coming up throughout the broadcast. But this is the end of our pregame show. We are getting ready for match number 1 at the Pepsi Classic. So we're going to be signing off of Facebook and YouTube. This is your time to head over to bowltv.com, subscribe to watch the finals of the Pepsi Classic. So, folks, we're going to take a quick reset, and we will be right back with Dave and CDB for the finals. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.
And the lights are on, and we are home. So this match is about to begin with the number 4 seed, Stephanie Johnson, taking on number 3 seed, Julia Bond, with Missy Parkin awaiting the winner. And at the top of the stepladder, Maria Jose Rodriguez. Stephanie getting a quick last-second bit of advice. And, of course, it's Julia's choice as to who will start the match and what lane. We are on a 43-foot pattern. On Tuesday, it was 37, so that's not a complete surprise as to why we have a little bit different in the Final Four. But again, the one player repeating is Stephanie Johnson, showing her versatility, being able to play short and long. Julia has decided she wants the ball first, and she is going to take the left lane. So here's your reigning USBC Queens champion, looking for a third title in 2021. Little light. Has one on the deck.
Little light, but great shot. Again, I always bring this up because I think it's something, especially I want our youth bowlers to pay attention to. Julia had the choice to start or finish, right? I always bring that up, so she'll be finishing on the right lane. I believe yesterday, this is the same TV pair, correct?
Yes.
So it was the left lane that tended to be the more difficult the other day. So it'll be interesting to see how it breaks down today.
And Carolyn, what about how this pattern at 43 feet will play?
Well, I've actually been talking to some of the players, and I'm chatting with actually one of the best here, Kelly Kulik, as we speak. And they use terrain oil. And one of the things about terrain is the fronts, the heads, tend to go away pretty quickly. So that's going to do two things. If you have softer ball speed, it's probably going to look like the back ends get tight, but your ball's probably rolling too soon. So it's not quite, doesn't have enough gas at the end of the pattern. And the ladies did jump in rather quickly on this pattern. Instead of trying to play a little straighter, maybe with weaker balls and using ball speed to their advantage. If you see the top players, all are pretty firm. They're not, everybody doesn't have nobody has, slow ball speed. So I think that was very important on this pattern.
Now, Stephanie Johnson also not striking on the opening lane. She finished in third place on Tuesday night. And Kelly, Kelly's had a couple of good days. I know she's on the sidelines and not overly happy about it today, but she was ended up finishing in fifth, losing to Stephanie. Yeah. By only 31, but still, so a fourth and a fifth for Kelly.
Yeah.
And with this weekend still to come, you have to consider her a threat. She clearly has her game in very good working order. By the way, our spies tell us, that's actually Emil, that Steph is throwing the Zen Master, Carolyn, and another 900 global ball for Julia Bond, of course, the reality.
Right. The Zen Master, one of the newer balls by 900 Global, it's going to be very mid-laney, and it will be continuous on the back, but it tends to want to pick up soon. So if Stephanie starts to get that 4-pin flat 10 blower 7 reaction, it might be that the ball's just a little too early.
Oh, and she's got an early crisis, and there's our dear friend, the left lane again.
And again, one of the keys that I noticed during match play, the ladies who made it to the top and again used their ball speed were really trying to keep that ball in front of them. Right now, though, I would say the lanes are still pretty fresh. I mean, don't forget they only had, not a very long practice. Not many balls went down the lane. The lanes are continuously changing, so the moves need to be just a little bit quicker. And this is why I think the ladies moved in faster, because this is somewhat of the reaction they saw.
Ooh,
wow, great try there.
Aggressive run at that. Yeah, I love that. And why not? You only get one shot at this. This is not one of those 8-game qualifying sessions where you can just sort of throw it down there, take a couple pins, and move on. You've got to go for these. And that was a bold and nearly successful effort. That's a good kick, save, and a beauty on that 10-pin. Julia back in Reno, where she won the Queen this year. So she's got to feel pretty good anytime she walks off the plane at Reno Tahoe.
Picture perfect right here, this replay. Great way of showing how she stays down with every shot until that ball hits the pins. She also is using a ball clean through the front, but still very mid-laney, smoother on the back, but it's definitely going to have just a little bit more on the back than the Zen Master. I don't think the reality hooks as early, and as you can see, she does have it, it's not dead shiny, but has maybe like about a 2000 surface on it.
Oh, Oh, wow. Well, that was a straighter is greater shot right there, pretty much. So a double for Bond, making her 4th appearance. So think about this. This is just her 4th appearance, and she has 2 titles. She was 2 out of 3 coming into this evening.
I didn't see where Julia actually crossed at the arrows, but I love the tracers down lane because that ball stayed left of that tracer, the furthest one down lane, which is 10. So you could see not opening up her angles very much.
And still off the mark a little bit for Stephanie Johnson.
Stephanie actually got that ball a little right, and it dead picked up. So again, going back to how this oil breaks down, it's picking up just a little early. Right here, you'll see. To me, she needs to make a bigger move and get out of that zone, or change balls to something that actually will not pick up as much in the middle part of the lane.
Stephanie's... Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh, no, I was just saying, one of the great things about Stephanie that I talk about all the time, I try to bring out the best traits they have, is her ball speed. She can keep the ball in front of her. She can throw it hard. And just making maybe a parallel to the left, even like a 3 and 2, and just picking up that ball speed a little bit, if she likes the motion of this ball, which, again, Dave, you and I are watching, and we may say, wow, hey, I don't really like that. But when you're the bowler, sometimes you have a feel, and you're laughing, but that's true, right? So
no, I believe you because you're right. We're sitting in the second guest seat here, Carolyn.
Correct.
We have that advantage.
Absolutely.
3rd appearance on TV for Stephanie this year. She's 2nd in the PWBA this year in average. Just under 213.
Now there it looks like she made the move to the left, got that ball out onto the lane a little bit more. If you could see, she lofted it out onto the lane, get it down the lane a little further, and maybe kick just a little harder. Still left that flat 10. So to me, I think it's ball change.
We'll keep an eye out on that. She's still looking for her first strike, and Bond is working a double, so an early advantage for Julia, with Missy Parkin standing by. It's interesting, in Stephanie's interview, if I remember, she said she never really got a good read, even though she won her first game in beating Kelly Kulik on Tuesday. She never felt like her ball was reading the way she wanted it to. So there's a quick confab with her ball reps, and we'll see if we can spot a different ball on her next shot. I don't think Julia Bond will be changing balls anytime soon, though.
No, and that's a great shot from this view because Julia actually got that ball just a little bit further right than you saw her on the left lane. See how this gets to the just barely right of that tracer down lane? But see how smooth that ball was off the spot? So once again, I think for Julia, the moves could be smaller so she can be able to just 2-and-1 it and shim it. Where Stephanie, if she's going to roll it a little more, will need to make bigger moves or change balls, something that's just a little bit cleaner.
Thought she might mix that 7-pin out of there. It didn't happen, but nevertheless, Julia with a decent-sized lead as we hit the halfway point of this opening match at the PWBA Pepsi Classic at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. All right, cleanly done. No problem at all there, as expected.
We are going to see a ball change by Stephanie. She's going to change to the UC2 that we saw her throw the other day, which again is going to be a little bit cleaner, but still read the middle part of the lane, but not be as dramatic.
That's a great ball change. That worked perfectly.
Great ball change, allows her to stay close to the same part of the lane right here. Picture perfect. Great leverage at the line. You can see she's playing this lane so close to the same way Julia is. You'll see Julia and Stephanie play the lanes quite similar. And again, just it'll wind up being maybe a different type of ball to help them create the shape that they want.
Still plenty of room here for Stephanie to make a comeback. She's going to need a little help from Julia Bond, but Johnson's certainly not out of this match yet.
Not a bad read on this left lane. Dave, again, we always go out on a limb, right? I'm saying that left lane is going to be the one.
Isn't that funny? The pattern's different, so it's not like we're bowling on the same thing we're bowling on Tuesday.
Nope.
But, yeah, it's really interesting. There's always one sort of co-star in one of these shows, and it's the equipment, whether it's a particular ball that works well, or in this case, Carolyn, it's that left lane for the second straight show.
Right. I also think, as we don't talk about this a lot, but topography of the bowling center, right? Every lane is different. Every lane is not flat. It's, the topography of each lane is quite different. So that comes into play more than people think. And we, during practice, I don't count, but they could have thrown 15 shots on the left lane and only 8 on the right lane. That's going to make a difference too.
A beautiful angle, and there you see the 7-pin just got stomped on.
Right here, just another good shot by Julia. Looks identical to the last shot, except she gets the light mixer.
Yeah, the head pin came in high and the 4-pin chopped low, so it'd be a 15-yard penalty in football for a chop block. But in bowling, it is definitely welcome. That has to push. One more break? No.
You're going to see if we get the replay on this shot. She definitely threw this one a little bit harder. Look how far right of the tracer it got. She's been keeping it around 9-10. That got out to about 7-8 and just did not recover, leaving the 2-10, possible spare. We can slide this over.
If she can't make it, it gives Stephanie Johnson a little bit of hope. Well, she played it conservatively.
You also see Julia sitting down, writing down in her notebook, making notes. A lot of the ladies do that. They do it either after every shot, or I've seen some of the ladies do it after their match, just to make some notes, kind of take their mind off everything and give them a chance to regroup.
It's a big shot here. She needed that.
Much better shot by Stephanie. She gets this ball into the lane just a little sooner. Gives it plenty of time to pick up right there. Great shot. Again, the right lane, they seem to be playing identical. The left lane, I thought at first, Julia actually was a little bit deeper. So I'm going to pay attention to this shot here.
Well, the max now for Steph is 225. Bond at 237. Her best shot on the left lane.
Great shot by Stephanie. She's actually pitching it out onto the lane on that left lane, getting the ball to conserve just a little bit more energy. Look at that. About 9 down lane. Perfect. Perfect shot.
So after going the first 4 frames with 3 spares and an open, Stephanie Johnson has struck in 3 of the last 4. Julia Bond is now coming off of her first error of the match, and we'll see how she responds. That was a good-looking shot.
Good shot. Yep, good shot by Julia. One of the things I like about Julia, too, is she's never trying to do something so out of the realm of her game. And I mean that as a true compliment. In other words, you know, you'll have different hand releases. You know, maybe, you know, you're up the back of it, you rotate around it a little bit, or, you know, you get around it as much as you can, or you get on the side of it, whatever it be, maybe 2 or 3. There's one thing you're going to do the best out of all of them. And I like that Julia sticks to that all the time. Julia looks no different to me than when she did when she won the Queens.
Yeah, that was a while back, earlier. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
You know, Carolyn,
And
what's interesting? Go ahead, please.
I'm just saying, go right ahead. No.
Well, what's happening now is, remember we mentioned that Stephanie needed that first strike. She's doubled, and now the maxes are only 2 pins apart.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Julia definitely has some hold on this lane. Again, I love that we can see that tracer, perfect shot, getting it just to about that 9 board, and that was just a great shot. Gets a bad break, leaves the ring 10. Again, I like this match because you're seeing how the ladies are playing them so similar with 2 totally different bowling balls. So that will give the next 2 players a great read on the lanes.
Now, here's the thing now. Stephanie Johnson, who was way behind early, has come into a position where she can win this match. Stephanie Johnson, the 4 seed, versus Julia Bond, the 3 seed here at the PWBA Pepsi Classic, the penultimate event on the tour, coming up on Halloween late afternoon. And we'll have the PWBA Players Championship on CBS Sports Net. So Stephanie Johnson in position to nail down this match.
Oh,
Wow.
she's stuck on that shot, I think. I saw it as soon as her foot stopped.
You could see with the angle we had that right where her feet were,
Right
this did
here.
not look
See?
right. Yep.
See how it looks like the front, because she puts pressure on the front of her toe, like toe to the middle of her sole, and you could see how it just stopped.
A terrible break for Stephanie Johnson, who was in the position to lock the match down, and now she can't shut Julia Bond out, no matter what. So her max now shrinks to 203. And Julia's 216. Sometimes in this sport, you get one chance and one chance only to do damage. I'm not saying this match is over because it certainly is not. But Stephanie had the opportunity, and unfortunately, a little problem at the approach.
We always say the 9th and 10th frame are your foundation frames. You know, basically set you up, especially if you have a chance to win the match.
Oh, no.
Well, there's nothing you can say about that. She made the right ball change. She went to a ball that was cleaner, conserved more energy, and she made great shots once she changed to that ball. Just a bad break.
So looking for a 192. And if she strikes on this fill ball, Julia
Correct.
Bond will now need just 9 on her first ball to move on to face Missy Parkin.
Right.
And she did exactly that. So 192 to finish things up for Stephanie Johnson.
Julia is changing balls on this shot. And I tried to see what it is, and it's a storm ball, I know that. Oh,
Is
a dark
this
code. It's a dark
is-
code. It's going to get down the lane a little bit further.
Well, I have a question, but let's wait and see what happens here. My question was, the match wasn't over.
No. And I'm going to
So-
I was going to say something to you about that.
Yes, that
Correct.
was my question. That seems like a pretty bold move here.
Me personally, I would have stayed with the ball that was getting me 9 in strikes.
Yeah.
And on my fill shot, I would have tried the dark code. But that's because the match was only within 2 pins. I mean, you were talking just a few pins and anything can happen. So, but she obviously had confidence in what she was doing. She needs to make the spare.
She just needs 1 here, and we'll be watching her move on. And she's going to get it. And an extra. So Julia Bond has clinched a spot in the next match to take on Missy Parkin, with the winner to face Maria Jose Rodriguez, who's at the top of the step ladder. What an eventful game this was. Bond had a big lead, saw it go away when she had a 210 and didn't convert it. And then Stephanie Johnson stood in the 9th with a chance to lock Bond out and stuck at the approach, in Carolyn's opinion. And we'll ask Stephanie about that for sure when she comes to talk to us. And then that changed the match one more time. And then Julia Bond changes the ball in the 10th, which to me is nervy.
Right.
It worked.
I agree.
Though. Wow. I mean, that's pretty impressive. All right, before we get a chance to get our next match, it is going to be Julia Bond and Missy Parkin, and we undoubtedly will have Stephanie Johnson drop by. But let's send it over to Aaron Smith, who's got something special for everybody, another giveaway, and also a word from one of our important sponsors.
That is correct, Dave. Folks, it's time for our Storm Bowling Ball of Choice to be given away. So a big thank you to Storm, our gold industry partner here on the PWBA Tour. So as always, with the giveaway, be looking for it in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You'll see the prompt. It'll count down. You'll see another prompt. That'll have the Submit Entry button. All you have to do is click Submit Entry. You'll have an opportunity to win one winner for a Storm Bowling Ball of Choice. If you are watching in full screen mode, we do suggest you take it out for just a quick minute. Make sure you can see the chat and be part of the giveaway. So we're going to run a quick ad from Storm, and then there'll be time for the giveaway right here on Bowl TV.
lot of professional tournaments. We've won a lot of tournaments worldwide. I mean, we won more in the last 10 years worldwide than any company. We make good bowling balls, and good players use our bowling balls because they can win with them.
All right, folks, that giveaway is underway once again. Wait for the submit entry button. Click, and you'll have the opportunity to win. Dave and CDB, back to you.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. And you see Missy Parkin in her trademark pink and Maria Jose Rodriguez over on the right-hand lane. Missy will be next, trying to win for the first time on this tour since 2010, although she has won in other places, regionals, and has won around the world. And, of course, Maria Jose Rodriguez out of Colombia, an accomplished international player and one really, really good college player. We'll get into more of that as we get closer. One thing I wanted to do, and hopefully we'll hear from Stephanie shortly, but we didn't give you the rest of the top 12 that made it into match play for the PWBA Pepsi Classic. And Kelly Kulik was 5th, Adasha Kovalova 6th, Liz Johnson 7th, Jen Higgins, who's had a nice year, 8th, Brianna Cote, who won the top seed on Tuesday but did not win the tournament. She was beaten by Stephanie Zavala. Brianna was 9th, Verity Crawley finishing 10th, Sandra Gongora 11th, and Lindsay Boomershine, who had a 300 game. Lindsay took the number 12 position. And now, I believe Steph has joined us. There she is. Well, it's too early again.
I know, but I
Stop
guess
doing that.
the silver lining is I'd rather be talking to you than not talking to you.
Oh, we're both curious on, was it the 9th frame? Did you stick on the shot in the 9th?
The 9th frame. No, I hit my ankle.
Oh, did you hit your ankle? Because
I
your
hit my
left foot
ankle.
looked like it stopped. And then,
Yep.
oh, geez. Okay, well, I had a bad call on that one because I saw your foot move, but I was looking more at your foot than I was the ball, and I was like, I think she's stuck. There's no way that ball would be going
It
that
was probably
far
a
right.
combo of all of that. Stick,
No.
hit the ankle, ball went right. It was just not good.
No, but I do like on this pattern, watching, I saw that, with terrain, the fronts seemed to break down. The ladies did move left a little bit quicker than I actually thought they would, to be honest. I loved the ball change. So just give
Yeah.
us the reasoning for your reason for changing balls.
Yeah, so, I mean, we get practice on the pair. It goes so quickly. And, the ball that I started with, the Zen Master, looked really good. And sometimes it's hard to gauge whether you threw it bad or if it's actually the ball. And I really feel like I'm throwing the ball great. I should have probably changed balls right after I split. It's here nor there. We made the right call. Back to something a little cleaner, the UC2 that would get through the fronts and store some energy down lane. So it's just a little too late.
Well, I did also want to ask you, because I know how hard you work on your game. You are throwing it very well. On the left lane, which seems to be the lane for some reason the other night and tonight, that's the one that's a little more tricky. You seem to be lofting it out on the lane just a little bit more to conserve a little energy. Is that what you were seeing? Because did the left lane break down a little bit quicker than the right lane?
Yeah, so I felt like it was just getting super early, and I just wanted to clear the hedge a little bit, even though I made that ball change. Just that extra little oomph, I think, made the difference. Of course, the 8-pin didn't help, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I do want to give a massive shout out. I hope Roto Schlem is watching, and Alex. I had a tune-up at headquarters before I came out here. It absolutely made all the difference in the world. So I thank you guys so much. I'm throwing the balls we drilled, and obviously what we worked on is working. So thank you.
Awesome.
Very
well,
cool.
I'm sure they appreciate that, Stephanie. We appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
You
Take
bet.
care.
Take
I
care,
love you, Mom. Bye.
Stephanie Johnson joining us. You can see Missy Parkin completing her warm-ups. She'll be taking on, this will be a match of past. In fact, all we have left now are USBC Queens winners, because we have Missy, we have Julia and Maria Jose Rodriguez, who won in 2014, Missy in 2010, and Julia this year. So we've got an extremely high-class field here of major champions current and past, of the 3 bowlers remaining at the PWBA Pepsi Classic. And Missy getting some last-second advice. Of course, few people know equipment better than her. She and her husband Drew at pro shops in California. Missy gives lessons, stays extremely active in the game when not competing. So she's dialed in on equipment. Now, Missy is the higher seed here, and this is a rerun. This time, Julia didn't get to choose to start on the left and finish on the right. Missy has assigned that to her.
Interesting, because with Julia, I do think she's lined up on both lanes.
And that's the first one we've really seen kind of snap through the face for anyone.
I think she's still using the dark code. I think the dark code might be just a little bit too much length with too much on the back, because it is a clean ball. But again, if she freshened up the surface, give it a frame or two, it's going to calm down just a little bit because it's getting some lane shine. Or Julia knows her equipment. All of the women on the show know their equipment. She'll either change balls or make the move.
All right, easy cover there on a difficult spare for Julia. And we take a look at Missy Parkin. Missy 7th overall in points this year. She's making her 5th championship round appearance. She is 10th in earnings. She's had a very solid year. This is her 16th cash. She has been steady. And my goodness, that's the second time we've seen this happen.
Great first shot by Missy. Now, Missy's one with on terrain as the lanes, especially the front of the lane, breaks down. She spins the ball just a little bit more than obviously Julia and Stephanie. Although Stephanie can get on the side of it, they really are still much more rolly than Missy is. The other addition to Missy is she has great ball speed. So she should be able to stay on top of the pattern longer than I would predict as in Julia and Maria.
And our viewers will remember, Carolyn, and we will too, that this was the 2021 Queen's Championship pairing. Missy looking for a second title and Julia looking for her first Queen's, and Julia won comfortably. And when they were in Louisville, which Dasha Kovalova won, they were both on that program too. So they're used to competing against each other in this 4-person stepladder format. Oh boy, that cleared trouble out of there. I feared that she was going to get stuck with a split that time, and she's fortunate to leave the 4.
A little bit more direct. She's left of that tracer. Now remember, for both ladies, Stephanie and Julia, getting right of that tracer around that 8-9 area gave them the best motion. That one was definitely left of the tracer and the ball hooked through the nose. Julia's first shot did the same thing. So again, that move left, just like they did during qualifying and match play, it might be the time now to make a little bit of a bigger move on the left lane.
So Julia's first appearance in this game on the right-hand lane. Maria Jose Rodriguez standing by. And Julia also a 3-time PWBA regional champion. Past U.S. amateur champion. And out of Nebraska, the college program there, which is tremendous. And a little mixer. And of course, Shannon Pluhowski now coaching, assistant coaching at Nebraska.
and I'm not sure those ladies know how lucky they are to have Julia coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a great coach with Shannon Plahowski. I mean, that right there was domination, and now you have Julia Bond helping. I mean, my gosh, I look at some of these college coaches, Kayla Bandy and Kim Kearney, and Josie Barnes, and all these wonderful women who are so talented themselves, now sharing their knowledge. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Shannon has departed Nebraska, I should mention, and so Julia kind of
Correct.
took her spot. I think Alicia Kern is still coaching, is she not?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
There's another one. Look at this. She makes the move left, crossing about 18 at the arrows and gets it right over that tracer. Comes in just a little light, but great shot. Now, again, see, I like the light hit because when Julia was hitting light the last match, she was blowing the rack, right? So remember, lanes change every time the ball goes down the lane. Stay where you're at, execute. She's in the right area.
Blew through the face and a trip and a good break that Missy Parkin needed, as Julia Bond, who got out of the gate quickly in defeating Stephanie Johnson, although she stumbled at one point and was in a position to not win the match, to literally have it taken away from her by Stephanie, only to not have it happen, obviously. So, by the way, Missy throwing a Strata Hybrid right now. Thank you, Emil. Boy, that thing was on target. That looked to me like she fired that with a couple of extra miles per hour.
Yeah, definitely used her ball speed there. You can see much more direct. She's crossing at the arrows about 14, gets it right over that tracer. If I were Missy, if she's not going to move left, which again, if you tried to shape the ball, you had two looks. It either burned up because there was that hook in the front, or you had to be a lot more direct with balls that were cleaner. This right here, this is where she should use her ball speed and her ball roll to her advantage.
I thought that 10 might get a tap from the 6 on the way around, but not the case.
Just coming in a little light. Looked like a good shot, but again, it's one of those, I when I watch, because of course, again, we're here and I'm like, hey, I like that shot. But if you're flat tenning, blowing the rack, going high flush, blowing the rack, you are throwing it good. Julia is making good shots. So that's where it goes back to something Stephanie said. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Is it me or is it the ball? Is it time to change? And again, we've talked about this before. 10 frames is not a long time. It goes by rather quickly. So she's not giving up the pocket. She's got a good read of what the lane is doing. And again, Julia is not afraid to change bowling balls, as we saw in the 10th frame last game. So it will be interesting to see her execution the next couple of frames.
A lot of pin on the deck and one remaining for Julia to shoot at. The battle for Player of the Year in points coming into this event. Verity Crawley, by the way, moved into first, past Shannon O'Keefe, Dasha Kovalova third, Brianna Cote 4, Liz Johnson 5, Julia and Missy right now 6 and 7. And that is not updated to reflect what is happening here. So going into the final event, it's still a bit open as to who's going to wind up with the PWBA Player of the Year for 2021. Then again, Missy with some real heat has put up 3 in a row.
Great shot by Missy. Good leverage at the foul line. Again, she has just a little bit more of that spin to her roll. Allows her ball to not read the front part of the lane as much as the ladies that are a little more behind it. That doesn't mean bad or good. So let me just clarify that. It's just her ball will not read the front as quickly as Julia or a Stephanie.
Nope. But still a nice run here for Missy, who's had either 9 spare or strikes so far.
Another great shot. Ball went down the lane just a little bit longer. I mean, she's throwing it pretty hard. And again, I think this left lane is just a little touchy. Again, even Stephanie justified. Lane broke down just a little bit quicker. So again, she may just have to make a move and get where that ball just continues to conserve a little more energy.
No doubt on the 10-pin for Missy, who's got a nice support system there. Her mom is in the audience, along with husband Drew and their son DJ. Always nice to have a little love behind you when you're in competition. Oh, good looking shot all the way. I think if you're watching that gorgeous angle we have there, that was perfection.
Right here, repeating, moving a little deeper, 18, 19 at the arrows. Gets that light hit, but this time it taps out the 10.
Close match between these two, with the winner to face Maria Jose Rodriguez for the championship. Pretty. 10 straight back for Julia Bond, and she posts a double. And back and forth these two go.
Definitely amped up her ball speed. And look at left of the tracer. What does that mean? She's made the move on both lanes. She says, I am going to make this ball strike. And she did. I like that. Making the move off of where the ball might have been hitting the dry just a little bit at the end of the pattern, running out of gas. She makes the move left and keeps it in front of her with some ball speed. That's what was the key this week, or I should say last 2 days.
And a little bit high. Well, let me ask you, Carolyn, do you think that Julia has noticed that Missy has fired up the speed a little bit and just is sort of following suit because it's working?
I think so, and I think if you said, I wrote down a few. I'm sorry about with the people who are in the top 8 or 10. You're going to see it was the ladies that had ball speed, could keep their angles in front of them. When you tried to shape the ball, even talking to Kelly Kulik, when you really did try to shape the ball, kind of like Julia did in the first match, if you got it right and it hit the dry, it ran out of gas, right? So what's your option? Again, you're going to go to a cleaner ball. But again, you had to keep the angles to where you didn't open up that much, because if it hit the dry, it overreacted. And if you were too far right, you didn't have hold. So that move had to be to the left if you had more ball speed and you could get your ball not to read the fronts that early, or too early, I should say. You had the best look. I will tell you, there are a couple of girls. I shouldn't really keep talking, to be honest with you. You need to tell me to shut up. You kind of need to tell me to shut up in a way, because, I love to talk about all the bowlers, to be honest with you. Because there were a couple bowlers that I thought would bowl better than they did. I think they averaged high their first round. But of course, then just wasn't able to win matches, and not to take away, but Lindsay Boomershine, she has a little bit of a different ball roll. She can throw it hard, but she lost some big games, couldn't win the matches. But again, Dasha, she can amp it up there, loves to keep the ball in front of you. And so it just really came down to winning matches.
Yeah, Lindsay ended up finishing at 12th. And Dasha, who was the leader after the first day, was in 6th. And you mentioned not winning. Dasha was 3-9 in match play, and that's all the difference in the world. You give her a 6-6 match play record,
right?
And we see her on the show.
And that's where I was saying. I know I'm bringing it up again, but that's what I was looking at was match play, and then I always go back to look, and I'm going, okay, people made the show 5-1, right? Or in the beginning, before the end. Sorry, because or 8-4. Sorry. So, but then you had people that had 6-6, 7-5, and they weren't in the show going into the second round. Hey, you know what I mean? It's when you hit the right people at the right time sometimes.
Well, Julia keeping alive a chance at a big score here of 258. So even though Missy Parkin is bowling very well at the moment, Julia Bond is just better. And a trip 7 and 4 in a row for Julia.
Well, when you go high flush and your ball takes out all 10 and you go light and you blow the rack, right ball, right place, throwing it the right way. Right here, got it just a little bit further right than she has. But again, that ball just conserving enough energy to knock them all off the deck.
Let's say Missy's margin for error is virtually nil right now, as good as Julia is bowling. And it's going to be even tougher here for Missy from here on in, not being able to strike on this ball. Does she have a full bucket there?
Yeah, well, 2-4-5. But right here, you could see she got that one right at the tray. She got it out to about 8. But again, got it a little bit further right as it went down lane. And with the ball speed, it just didn't pick up. And again, that's where, when you kept it in front of you, the ball read the pattern the best. Once you started to open up the angles a little bit, you got this, the 2-4-5 reaction, get it in front of you, the trip 4. To me, the move is what Julia did. You have to move everything to the left and change where you're trying to get your ball to. But obviously, you can see that angle is not the key. Straighter angles are better.
Too. Yeah, she's going to finish out this match with a different ball. And again, if Missy strikes out, Julia still is in a great position. This is a damn good verge. And trip and a strike.
I'm glad you said the name of the ball because I thought it was damn good vibe.
Well, I'm going by what it was spelled to me.
I'm like, oh my
really
God.
Hoping that.
No. I think it was on my part. I looked really quick, and for some reason, I thought it said vibe, and I'm like,
you know what?
Geez, there's a vibe, really?
There might as well be. I would love a job naming bowling balls. If one of the companies would hire me, I would love. Because I'd have to have a master list because there's so many names out there. But I'd love to have that opportunity. seemed like it was a good move, but Julia Bond is still in a great position here, barring a disaster. And not even a disaster might even hurt her that much. All she's going to need is 8 if Missy pops the strike here. You know, 220 will win you a lot of matches, but it's probably not going to do it here.
No, and I'm going to say that too. You know, Missy has made a few shows where people have bowled rather big games at her, and she has finished games strong to win matches and get to the next match. And then boom, it's clean game. I mean, clean 220. You're right. That usually wins.
Especially in a stepladder format where nerves always have to come into play, even despite your experience. And unbelievable, but true. And Julia Bond has nailed this one down. And it will be Julia Bond and Maria Jose Rodriguez. And if Julia takes this all the way, then this would be her third win for the year. And you have to start putting her in the player of the year conversation.
Absolutely. Yep. Just thinking about that. And again, and I love, I don't know. There's so many things I think still are so old school, yet I think they're so important for today's game. And this is one of them with Julia. Again, with much respect, not a high rev rate. She gets up, she repeats, and does the same thing every time. Knows her equipment and knows the moves to make. That's what makes a champion.
256 for Julia Bond with 6 straight strikes at one point in the match. And again, Missy Parkin did very well, but there are days when you just get beat by a better performance, and that is what happened here to Missy. So hopefully we'll get a chance to talk with her. Certainly Aaron Smith is going to be jumping in here in a moment with more words from one of our important sponsors and something else to give away. And so, Aaron, I think it's Brunswick time this time. So take it away, and we hopefully will have a conversation with Missy Parkin here in a few minutes.
That's right, Dave. It is time. Our Brunswick giveaway for the day. This one is going to be a specific bowling ball. The brand new Quantum Evo Solid is up for grabs for one lucky Bowl TV viewer. So same as before, we are going to have the ad play, and then we will start the giveaway. So once again, a big thank you to Brunswick, a proud gold partner here of the PWBA Tour. And when we're back, it'll be time for the giveaway for the Quantum Evo Solid.
The Quantum Evo series celebrates the evolution of technology within one of bowling's greatest series of balls, the Quantum. The keystone for the Quantum balls has been the mushroom-shaped core, and this is where our engineers started developing the next evolution of easier revving, more versatile Quantum bowling balls. For more information on our Quantum Evo series and other Brunswick bowling balls, visit our social media platforms and also brunswickbowling.com.
All right, folks, with that, we're going to get the giveaway underway. Once again, wait for the submit entry button to give it a click, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a Brunswick Quantum Evo Solid. So good luck, everybody. We have one additional one coming up a little bit later today, but right now we're going to kick off that giveaway. Good luck, everybody. CDB and Dave, back to you.
All right, we've got Julia Bond and Maria Jose Rodriguez to wrap up the PWBA Pepsi Classic. It could be an epic match because Maria Jose Boldinger really got hot and bowled into the number 1 position. And it was an interesting article I read today, Carolyn, in Bowler's Journal, talking about Maria and saying that she felt like most of the time this year she's been getting by with what she called her C game. But she feels like in this event anyway, she has her A game. And I find it interesting because her C game's not bad. But
No,
her on her A game could be scary.
right. Maria is a very strong bowler. I think there's two things, and again, huge fan of Maria. I think she's very strong, but she hasn't bowled as well this year as in her opinion she should have. Number one, and I don't think she's bowled as well as she should have. I think she's throwing the ball very well. I just don't think she has seen the lane. And that also comes with some confidence, right? I mean, if you're not seeing the motion you want and you're throwing it good, but yet your scores aren't reflecting it, it tends to wear on you. And throughout the year, she hasn't really shot to the top. She's kind of been in the middle of the pack or a little bit lower. And that's very unlike Maria.
Well, we'll find out what she does against the reigning Queen's Champion. Meantime, we have a Queen's Champion with us right now, and that, of course, is Missy Parkin, who's going to take 3rd place in this event and get ready for the weekend. Missy, congratulations on the last couple of days. Can you stop playing Julia Bond? She's averaging about 250 against you in these televised events.
I know.
I feel like this is Goodwill Hunting. It's not your fault.
No, a clean 220 is supposed to win matches. I mean, really, when you think about it, you know, I mean, and honestly, I said this while watching, because of your ball roll and because of how you can clear the front, I really expected you to really have the best reaction and be able to make those moves parallel. You did have the one shot on the right lane that, you know, kind of was the changing factor of the game. But what made you change to that ball in the 10th?
So in the 7th frame, I believe, I 3-6-10. That was a really good shot off my hand. That was actually exactly where I wanted to throw it, and it just overreacted in the dry. So then the next time on that lane, the 9th frame, I made a very small move, and then I 2-4-5'd. So
Right.
that kind of told me right there was not the right ball. So I was kind of in between the Strata Hybrid, which is what I used to start, and the Damn Good Verge, which is what I switched to in the 10th frame. So I knew at that point the game was already over, and just from my knowledge and you know everything, I wanted to just see how it would work in the 10th frame, and so I switched balls, and the Damn Good Verge looked a little bit better.
Well, the two patterns we've seen, 37 feet. Now you're to, I believe this was 43 or 43 feet. I think ball speed has been an advantage. I think you've been able to manipulate the middle part of the lane more with the surface, or, you know, ball up, ball down. Have you felt that your ball speed is an advantage for you on some of the patterns that you've been bowling well on?
Yes. Yeah, I've definitely been throwing my A game for speed. I've definitely not been trying to throw it slow whatsoever. I think that just allows me to have a little bit of room if I miss left, that along with my ball roll. So I've been definitely keeping my speed up.
Well,
Excellent. We had a great
congratulations on
week.
another televised appearance, Missy, and best of luck to you for a big finish this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Missy Parkin, joining us. And now, the 2014 USBC Queen's Champion, Maria Jose Rodriguez, the number 1 seed, and Julia Bond, the number 3 seed for the championship. In Reno, the PWBA Pepsi Classic, Maria Jose has the honor of dictating the start of the match, and in conversation with her husband, the PBA bowler Nate Bohr. And we'll wait. Maria's the one standing. It leads me to believe that she's going to start things off. And for the first time, Julia Bond won't start a match. And she will finish on the left lane for the first time as well. And a trip on the 4-7 to get things started for Maria Jose.
So we're going to see this, and I don't know if we're going to see that replay, but there we are. She's going to be much deeper than Julia. She's going to be much deeper than all the players tonight. Higher rev rate. But here's the thing about Maria. She can get that ball through the front part of the lane, even being a little bit more rolly. She can get that ball through the front part of the lane because of how she gets on the side of it just a little bit. And she's got some ball speed. When she wants to amp it up, she can.
Well, Julia Bond doing what she's done to get to the championship match. She has gotten off to quick starts in the previous two matches in defeating Stephanie Johnson and then most recently Missy Parkin. Of course, she had a big finish against Parkin as well.
And right here you can see that the angle of the way Julia has been playing this pair, still 1 to 2 boards left of that tracer down lane, so getting it to about 10, 11, 12, right? Not trying to open up her angles in the front at all. Went to a cleaner ball to allow her to stay in the same zone, and she's been able to make that work. You can see by the motion of her hand, she got around that one. And as soon as she got over the top of that one just a little bit, you can see ball's way left, hits about 13, 14 down lane, leaves the 3, 6, 10.
Manageable, but always dangerous because of the chop factor on that 3-pin. Not a professional's favorite to shoot at. Like I said, not the professional's favorite to shoot at. She had that same leave in the second frame of the last game and made it. But you watch the ringer around the 10-pin. So an open frame early for Julia Bond. This is the first time she's done that tonight, made an early mistake. So we'll see how Maria Jose takes advantage of the gift. Well, not a surprise. One word I would use to describe Maria Carolyn is winner. If you look at her international accomplishments, her accomplishments in college, which are extensive at Maryland Eastern Shore, and then some titles on the PWBA tour, including a major, she just wins.
Yes, and she's very competitive. She has a strong mental game. She has that silent confidence. Again, Maria doesn't walk around telling everybody how good she is. She lets her bowling talk for itself, which is what I absolutely love. But she has confidence in her game and what she can do. Again, she tries to keep everything very simple, too. A lot of times when I talk to Maria after an event, I'll say to her, right here, she doesn't seem like she stayed with that shot, missed way right, and missed the ball off her hand. Gets a break that only leaves the 2-pin. One thing you'll see is Maria at times will only use 2 or 3 bowling balls, and she'll manipulate a little bit. I find that amazing because, you know, I'm not, in the day I could do that, not as much now, but she tries to keep it very simple. And again, she can manipulate her bowling balls, she can manipulate her hand just a little bit, and then again, can amp it up when necessary.
She is at the moment throwing the Motive Iron Forge. So we'll see how Julia can recover here. And she's going to have to very quickly. That's a class shot right there. A little light, but plenty of action. Got a lot of bang for the buck with that head pin.
Especially on that right lane. If I had to go back, I'm going to start charting that. I believe the light hits have carried more on that right lane for her, have not overreacted like on the left lane. But all the players have said the left lane has broke down faster.
her command that ball to get up, and it did. As for Maria Jose on the PWBA tour, as we take one last look at this, and just right about there, she held that ball to get up.
Yes.
Now, Maria Jose has not won on the PWBA tour since the PWBA Tour Championship in 2018. Her 2 wins on this tour are both majors. And that one wide right, and
Right here, this is one of the things about Maria when I see her bowl and she starts to, she started out with the double, then goes light, goes light. See how she doesn't stay with that shot as much as she did? She steps off to the right. She started wearing that sneaker on the right foot, which gives you more of a pivot step so she can drive into her slide. When she gets just a little quick, and she does it both ways, feet and getting that ball into her, see how she gets her ball down rather quickly? When both get a little too quick, she gets to the line and she loses just a little bit of her leverage.
2019 World Championships, which I happened to be fortunate enough to attend in Vegas. She picked up 2 gold medals on Team Columbia, a bronze medal as well, and 2 silvers. Of course, that's a good team, Columbia. You've got some real depth there. Sweep the deck.
Right here, you can see how she keeps that left arm in front of her for as long as possible. But again, using just a little bit of her upper body. And the other thing that could be, Maria hasn't made a show in a while. So she could still be trying to get her nerves under control. We've all been there. Not that she's any, she's been under the lights before, but it has been a while. So I expect she's just trying to walk around now and get her breathing going.
Well, by my count, this is her first show this year.
Yes, correct.
Oh, and look at what we have here for Julia. Another 3-6-10. By the way, we were talking about Julia and Player of the Year. Let's get this shot taken care of first because he missed the last one. She makes doubly sure about that. So if she wins this event, and this match very much up for grabs, if she wins this, she will move into 3rd in points. Verity will lead, and Dasha Kovalova will be 2nd. But Julia will move up to 3rd, 355 points back of Verity.
So honestly, if you think about it, even if she finishes 2nd, they're all within distance of possibly.
Even a runner-up isn't going to.
I mean, you're in it, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So, no, it's going to be a suspenseful finish, which is what you hope for as a fan. Maybe not the bowlers, maybe not Verity Crawley's looking for suspense and excitement to finish out the year, but she's going to get it whether she likes it or not. And you'll pick up a nice, tidy, tasty 25,000 points when whoever wins on Sunday. And Aaron Smith reminding us that in 2019, Maria made 4 shows. And, oh, by the way, $50K for winning the Tour Championship as well.
$50K. I like how you say that. $50K.
Yeah, I'll be asking the winner for a loan. So,
right.
That I don't have to pay back. So anybody's match as we wind down the PWBA Pepsi Classic. Of course, the players will jump right into the curtain call for the season. The Tour Championship. Carolyn,
That
you're
was a
interested
much
in her
better
footwork.
shot. Yes, I am.
Let's take a closer look at that.
Yeah, but that was a much better shot. So this is a good one. I can't. Oh well, you didn't see that because the score was there. But what I'm trying to tell you was, it looked as if that right foot stayed on the ground just a little bit longer. If we could get one more shot of that on one of maybe this shot, that right foot stayed on the ground just a little longer to give her better leverage, so she could drive into the line. And that's when she is able to let that ball drop from the top right there.
She got into that shot. She started backing that one up.
Yes, she did. And you could see her swing get right to the top and drop down. That's what she does best. And by the way, she's throwing it pretty hard and still catching it. So right here, there you go. See how she is solid at the line through that shot? Not much angle. Again, using the ball speed to her advantage, which was the key this week as this pattern broke down. And she will be able to continue to move left and not have a problem.
So she has taken command of the match with 3 in a row. Julia really needs this. I mean, Maria could max out for 267. Julia.
Well, the last time you said that, we had problems.
I know.
I'm kidding.
234
I'm
max
kidding.
for Julia.
I'm giving
just,
you a hard. I'm giving you a hard time.
I'm just offering this up there. It is not a prediction or even an expectation. It's just out there. Yes, the last time I said that, we had some tumult and upset. Of course, they can't hear us, so.
That's a good shot.
You are right.
I can see. Well, first of all, she posts every shot anyway, but I'm looking at the angle right here. Moved even a little deeper. That was around 20 to about 14. Love it.
So, real opportunity here for Maria Jose to do some damage before she finishes the match.
Much better shot.
But that looked really good.
Much better shot. You can see also that was a great shot to watch. Everything, the tempo matched. In other words, that swing didn't get going quickly. It was, she was, watch this right here. This was one of the best shots she's thrown all game. Right here, nice and smooth, doesn't hold on to it and just lets it drop. Gets that right foot on the ground for just a little bit longer to allow her to drive into the line.
Oh, that could have been a brick wall for her had that gone into a split.
Definitely not as solid, but you can also see how she was motioning. She got around that one a little bit quicker. Maria actually can keep her hand underneath the ball. I mean, she's pretty darn strong. She keeps her hand underneath it right before. She's got a great flat spot. And that one she just got over the side of just a little bit. But filled the frame. Keeps her in the game. Keeps her in the lead.
Max now. So Julia Bond has got to keep the pressure on. Her max is 234. So, truthfully, she needs to go off the sheet here. Man.
One thing you could see with Julia, when the pressure is on, very rarely does she waver. Right here, this is rock solid. Firm, catches it, great ball motion.
Now, if she can strike out, she's going to force Maria to strike and spare. Beautiful back-to-back bombs from her. And with every strike.
Picture perfect right here.
Where she's thrown, the last two, Carolyn, have been gorgeous.
Taking a little extra time on the shot.
Mixing a trip 7.
Well, with all 10 on this shot, she makes Maria step up. Strike on the first shot. And a spare.
What a finish in this
nine,
match, yeah.
Right? She strikes 9 spare. Strike is a tie, correct? Am I adding that correctly?
Julia gets 9 or less. Maria does not need to strike on her first shot.
There you go.
So she's got to strike to force Maria
correct.
to strike.
I said if she had struck. Right.
Yeah, you
right.
were correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at that. Dell's going to be proud of me. I could add fast. Huge shot right there.
My goodness. What a finish for Julia.
Unbelievable. Yes.
Talk about 6 in a row.
Each game she bowled, she has stepped up to the plate and gotten the job done.
203, 256, and now 234. Maria Jose Rodriguez has to strike right here.
Oh,
for God's sakes. A ringing 10 would have been fine enough.
Wow, look at this shot. She gets it just a little right, but threw it great. Stayed with it. What a terrible break for Maria.
The head pin shot in front of the 7. And that's that. Julia Bond has won her 3rd title on the PWBA Tour, has injected herself into the top 3 in Player of the Year race. So you've had just this week 2 of the young stars of the PWBA Tour, Stephanie Zavala winning her 3rd, and now Julia Bond winning her 3rd title in the season. And in stunning fashion, with 6 straight strikes and then a horrible break for Maria Jose Rodriguez, combining to give Julia a run up the ladder from to the championship. My goodness.
You get a quick shot, and then we're going to send you upstairs.
That is
Big smile.
that's such it's a finish where you feel great for Julia because she finished so beautifully, but then Maria throws what appears to be a very good ball, needing a strike to win, and getting what she got is so brutally unfair. And Emil, if you can fire up a replay of that again, I would love to have Carolyn analyze this.
Actually, from the back would be great if you could.
Actually, you know what, Emil? Maria's shot is actually more dramatic, if you don't mind, because this is just hard to imagine. I can understand the ringing 10 part of it. I just can't understand how we got to that. So if you have it, while we're waiting to hear from Julia and all that, and I know Aaron also has something else to give away, and we're not going to forget that. But yeah, if you could do that for us, that would be awesome. Because Carolyn, this is just, I'm sure nearly every bowler at some time or another is going to have this happen to her or to him. But wow.
Right here, gets it just a little bit further right. You could see it got down the lane just a little bit further and wasn't as sharp off the spot. Comes in light and leaves a 7-10. But I got to tell you, off her hand, I thought she had the ball speed, she had the angle, she stayed with it. Yet Julia came through in the matches. Every time Julia's back was against the wall, she got up and started to strike. She deserved to win this championship. I mean, when things happen, but she did put the pressure on Maria. Maria did make a good shot, just a bad break.
Well, I tell you what, our champion is joining us now. Her name is Bond, Julia Bond, and we bring her in. Congratulations. And Carolyn was just talking about your resiliency because you put the pressure on Maria to have to make a shot. It didn't work out for her. But let me ask you about the finish of that match. What you did so well, those final 6 frames to get those strikes, is every one of those was an absolutely perfect shot. It seemed to be.
Thank you. The mindset with the last frames is patience. Like, I feel like every time I'm here, I talk about patience, but that honestly is a super big key for me. Beginning of the game, I had some good shots. I missed that spare, and I was like, okay, bring it back, stay present. The only thing that I can do is continue to make my shots. I see my target. I see my break point. I know what shape I'm trying to create. Just execute. And I heard a little bit what Carolyn was saying is that having my back against the wall, it's kind of like a bulldog mentality. Is that, to be honest with you, I thought Maria had a much better shape than I did. And I think she had a lot more room down lane than I did. But the only thing I can do the only thing I can control is my shot making. And, kind of something that I say with my family, bonds don't quit. So, and I'm the type of person that even if it looks like I'm down, I'm still every shot still matters to me. It's still a pride thing. And so even though I might be down 50, but I'm still going to be posting my shots, and getting excited for everything that I can get. So very, very, very proud of myself for that one.
Yeah, well, you should be.
Yes. And you know what? It's funny that you said that about the ball motion, because I think you both had good ball motion, number one. I did like the fact that I liked a little bit straighter is greater with the ball speed, which is more of what you and Missy would have been doing. And I really thought once you started to just migrate that little bit left and not get the ball to the right of the tracer down lane, you had a little bit of hold and you had a little bit of bump because you were carrying the light hits. And to me, I made a comment and I said, when you're carrying the light hits and you're going high flush and you have it both, you're doing the right thing in the right ball with the right hand motion. I mean, the hand release, right? I do like the fact that Maria did move left. She was further left than you to start. But I do think once you started to open up that angle just a little bit down lane, if it hit the dry, it kind of ran out of gas a little bit. So I liked the fact, how did you balance the idea of changing balls from what you were using? Because I did like the smooth shape of the reality, and you did go to a ball that was a little bit cleaner once the fronts broke down. But that's kind of a big jump. So what was the thought process there?
Right. So I'm with you 100%. I personally like the shape of the reality, visually, if that's what I like to see. I was hitting pocket. I felt comfortable. And the beginning of that game, game one, I had such a strong start, but then it started kind of burning up a little bit. I'm starting to get these 10 pins. And I'm like, well, in a situation like this, and it's something that I've gotten better at, I can't keep always trying to just tweak it a little bit here and tweak it a little bit there. I don't have another game to kind of mess around. And so, talking to the ball reps, it was like, all right, we like the shape. We can probably hit pocket, but it's either going to strike or it's going to potentially give me 6.
Right.
That's kind of what that was kind of shape that we were seeing. It's like, all right, you're throwing it better than what we're seeing. And so the dart code has been something that's worked great pretty much, all day and yesterday. And so that was a shape that I was comfortable seeing. And we kind of knew that once Missy and Maria got to our pair, they were immediately going to migrate. So I knew I had to jump. I had to jump kind of over them to stay ahead. And the dart code is a ball that would allowed me to do that. It's a little bit stronger and just cleaner. So would have kind of gotten through all that junk. And that was kind of our guess at the beginning of, the last matches. I knew Marie was going to be in. I was like, all right, I have to keep up. And so we made a guess, and, it was kind of a little bit light on a few shots, but towards the middle of the game, I found my groove. I had told myself, I was like, all right, let the ball do the work. Don't try to just throw it down there. Try to roll it. and then I started seeing better shape for myself, and I just took advantage of it. And I was just like, all right, it's here. We got it. Might as well see what we can get out of it.
You've injected yourself in the Player of the Year race now. I believe, according to what they're telling me, you're now third. Ooh. And certainly with all the big points that are going to be available this weekend, just how do you see this shaking out? I mean, you're having this spectacular season. You're a 3-time winner, and now you have the one opportunity to really go out on top and win everything here: Player of the Year, the tournament, and 4 titles.
Right, and it's something that I think comes with experience, and it's part of the journey that I've been on this year, is that I'm super proud and I'm honored to even be considered, and that I'm doing so well. But ultimately, I just have to focus on the tournament and taking it one shot at a time, and just kind of like what you said, see how it shakes out. It's out of my control what other people do. I can only put myself in the best position possible, and this definitely helps my cause. But I'm just very excited, to be here and to be able to compete and to have this, kind of, backing me up going into tomorrow. So I'm just taking it one day at a time, literally one shot at a time. And again, just doing my best. This is all new, and I still have a lot to learn, and I'm still growing, but I'm very excited for the rest of the week.
Now, do you mean you're growing? Wait, do you mean you're growing as a bowler, or are you going to get taller? No, I'm kidding. I think your height is perfect.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Well,
awesome,
congratulations, Julia. That was a spectacular show to run the ladder, and you know 3 great players you had to beat, 2 all major champions. Just a spectacular effort on your part, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Julia Bond, your winner of the PWBA Pepsi Classic. We promised you more Aaron Smith, and we have it, because Aaron has one more bowling ball giveaway and, of course, a very important word from one of our sponsors. Aaron?
I do, Dave. What a show. My goodness. Just a crazy finish there. To wrap things up, we do have want to recognize Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of the PWBA. And then we have a Roto-Grip bowling ball giveaway. So a Roto-Grip bowling ball of choice. I know CDB could probably have a few suggestions for that.
Ask me questions.
But we'll go ahead, have the Kegel ad, and then the giveaway, and then Dave and CDB will wrap up the show. So with that, everybody, once again, a big thank you to Roto-Grip and to Kegel for their continued support of the PWBA Tour.
And so that's going to do it for our evening here, Carolyn. I'll ask you. We've watched these ladies all season long. We're down to one event. Do you have 1 or 2 players that you think are going to end up taking it all, winning the PWBA championship on the lanes and Player of the Year as well?
Okay. Well, I was just looking. So do we know what the pattern is?
40 feet.
It's 40 feet. Okay.
Oil.
So with terrain oil. I would think because you're going about 3 feet shorter, you're still using terrain. I still like the idea of the people that can probably, or the ladies that can keep it a little more in front of them, use their ball speed. I think that's going to be, again, a key factor. I like the ladies that are going to keep it simple. And I want to reiterate what Julia said. She said, I focus on my shot. And she says, I play my game. I don't have another game to go to. So again, remember how I mentioned how people tweak things? Mm-hmm. She doesn't play around with that. She says, you know what? I do one thing really well, and I focus on that. And honestly, with this being a big tournament, it's going to be on TV. It's going to be 50,000 first. I think the ladies that can keep the ball in play, use the ball speed to the advantage, if they break down in the front like they did for this pattern, fill frames, and keep it simple, and don't try to manipulate too much. Those are the ones that are going to get to the top. I think you're going to see Julia's going to be in the mix.
Okay.
I think you're going to see, let me tell you, you haven't seen Shannon O'Keefe yet. It's not as if she's a quitter. So this could be her, this could be her week. Or I keep saying week, but tomorrow could start her day.
Right now. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So again, I mean, there's so many people in that mix that are so competitive and are throwing the ball well that I think we can see. Dasha, I mean, she just lost a couple of matches or she would have been on the show. So again, you have people that are mentally, right now, mentally tough and throwing the ball well. And the National Bowling Stadium, like I keep saying, it plays different. So they've bowled 2 tournaments now in the stadium, besides Queens. 2 right now the last 4 days. They have a feel of what these pairs do. So the ones that have been bowling well should have a little bit of an advantage.
And Julia Bond has 2 wins in this building already.
Yes.
Now. She won the Queens, and then she won just a few moments ago. And you mentioned
Yes.
Shannon O'Keefe, somebody who loves that TV spotlight.
Yes, absolutely.
She gets up for it. She absorbs it better than maybe anybody out there. She's so comfortable in that light. So if she can get on the show, she's going to be a big factor.
Correct.
And that's another good one. And you know who's bowling well, who didn't make the show this one, but didn't miss by much, is Kelly.
I'm looking at that right now. So I pulled it up while we were sitting here because I knew there were names I was missing. I like Kelly's chances. This is the best I have seen her bowl. Before the break, she was throwing it very well. Some of the changes she made. Again, she increased her ball speed. She has been able to change those angles to always, instead of always being a little more open, she's been able to close it down and repeat it. The other one that I like, again, we mentioned Dasha. Diana has been kind of floating within that top 10, right? Top 12. So we've got Diana. We have the dark horse. I'm going to tell you the one that nobody's talking about. You want to take a guess? I know. Do we have to get off, or am I going to get yelled at?
I'm trying to think.
Who's the dark horse?
Somebody we haven't seen the first 2 nights, right?
Yep. That you never count out.
Pyoke?
I'll give on that one, but that's who I'm talking
That's
about.
not who you're thinking of. Ooh, didn't make
want-
show. Oh, my God, Liz.
Absolutely 100%.
Who
can
had
throw
that
it?
the first time.
Who can throw it hard? Who can shut down her angles? Who can repeat? And who's not scared to get up and throw it for the cheese?
Right. No doubt about that.
Just throwing it out there. I mean, I know she hasn't made one of the last 2 shows, but she's floating around the top 11, top 12. She didn't bowl great the first round, but not terrible.
Right.
Right? I mean, really? Do you count her out?
No, never.
I don't think
Ever,
so.
Ever. No.
Nope.
If
Nope.
she feels right physically, then you never, ever count her out.
I agree. And then we could go down this. I think you'll see Missy Bolwell, Verity Crawley still throwing it well. So I think you have a couple of people that they're going to flip-flop around there, which, to be honest with you, if some of those people get in, it basically changes that Player of the Year race.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Verity has the advantage. Dasha's second. Dasha's and now Julia, but Shannon's probably in the top 5.
Correct.
And the whole list, by the way, will be available on bowl.com. And coverage will be kicking off tomorrow on bowl.com for the qualifying for the PWBA championship. And again, on Sunday evening on CBS Sportsnet. I guess we should go, Carolyn.
Okay.
But
I know. You
thank
got to cut me off. Sorry about that.
No, but I want to thank you, and of course, all my best to you and Dell and your whole family, and thank you for all of your time and all the fun we have doing this. Hopefully, we'll get to do it side by side one of these days.
I would love it.
Yeah, so would I. And again, I want to thank everybody at USBC for bringing me in this summer. I hope we can do it again next year. Thank you, Aaron and Jason and Curtis and Emil. You guys provide us with so much information and help that it makes these shows especially getting to talk to people like Carolyn, It makes these so much fun for me, and it's just something I really look forward to. So we'll wrap things up here. Thanks to all our sponsors as well for all of your support. I hope you enjoy the show this weekend on Sunday evening. You can put football in the DVR and watch these ladies bowl for $50,000 and the PWBA Players Championship and the Player of the Year trophy. For CDB and all of us at Bowl TV, I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you for watching.